Hello, and welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. Today's topic is something very practical, very useful, and maybe a little bit scary for many people. We are going to talk about how to give a presentation in English. Now, maybe you are a student and you need to present your project in class. Maybe you are a professional and you have to speak in English at a business meeting. Or maybe you just want to practice your English by speaking in front of other people. Whatever your situation, giving a presentation in English can feel like a big challenge. But don't worry, by the end of this episode, you will have a clear roadmap. You will learn 1. How to prepare for your presentation. 2. How to structure your ideas. 3. Useful phrases you can use. 4. And tips for speaking with confidence. So let's begin. Why presentations in English feel difficult. First, let's understand the challenge. When you give a presentation in your own language, you already know the words, you know the grammar. You feel natural. But in English, you have to think about your language and your message at the same time. That's why many people feel nervous. They worry about making mistakes, forgetting words, or being judged. But here's something important. A presentation is not about perfect English. It's about clear communication. Your audience wants to understand your ideas, not test your grammar. So if your English is simple, that's okay. In fact, simple English is often more effective. Step 1. Preparation is everything. Before you even open PowerPoint or write your first word, take a deep breath and think, who is my audience? What do they already know? What do they need to learn from me? For example, if you are presenting to your classmates, maybe they don't know much about your topic. So you need to explain slowly and clearly. If you are presenting at work, maybe your audience knows the basics and they want solutions or results. Next, write down your main idea in one sentence. This is called your core message. For example, today I will explain why recycling is important for our community. Or, in this presentation, I will show you how our company can save money with new software. If you can explain your idea in one sentence, you already have a strong foundation. Step 2. Structure your presentation. Now, let's talk about structure. A good presentation has a very simple structure. You don't need complex ideas. You can use the classic rule: introduction, body, conclusion. Let's break this down. 1. Introduction. This is where you welcome your audience, introduce yourself, and tell them what you will talk about. Example phrases. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah, and today I am going to talk about healthy eating. Hello. Thank you for being here today. In this presentation, I will explain the results of our project. Notice, you don't need to sound like a movie actor. Just be polite, clear, and direct. 2. Body. This is the main part. Usually, it is best to have 3 main points. Why 3? Because 3 is easy to remember for you and for your audience. For example, today I will cover 3 points. First, the problem. Second, the possible solutions. And third, our recommendation. Inside the body, you can use signposting language. These are phrases that guide your audience. For example, 1. Let's start with the first point. 2. Now. Moving on to the second point. 3. Finally, let's look at the third point. These small phrases are very powerful because they help your audience follow you step by step. 3. Conclusion. In the conclusion, you don't bring new information. You only summarize and remind people of your main idea. Example phrases. 1. So, to summarize, we looked at the problem, the solutions, and our recommendation. 2. In conclusion, recycling is not only good for the environment, but also for our health and economy. And of course, you can end with a polite thank you. Thank you very much for listening. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Step 3. Practice with useful phrases. One of the best ways to prepare is to learn presentation phrases that you can reuse. You don't have to create new sentences every time. You can memorize these like building blocks. Here are some categories. Starting the presentation. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today. Let me begin by introducing myself. Introducing your topic. Today I will talk about the purpose of my presentation is to. This presentation is divided into 3 parts. Transitioning between points. Let's move on to the next point. Now let's turn to, as I mentioned earlier, summarizing and concluding. To sum up, in short. Finally, I would like to emphasize, the more you practice these phrases, the more natural they will feel. Step 4. Speaking with confidence. Finally, let's talk about delivery. Many people worry about their accent, pronunciation, or mistakes. But here's the truth. Confidence is more important than perfection. Here are some tips. Speak slowly. Nervous speakers often go too fast, but if you slow down, your English sounds clearer and more confident. Use pauses. After each main point, stop for 1 or 2 seconds. This helps your audience follow your ideas, and it gives you time to breathe. Use simple words. Don't try to sound like a dictionary. Instead of utilize, just say use. Instead of commence, just say start. Practice out loud. Reading silently is not enough. Stand up, use your slides, and practice as if you are in the real presentation. Remember, your audience doesn't want a perfect actor. They want a clear, confident speaker who respects their time. And that's the first part of our guide on how to give a presentation in English. We talked about the challenge, preparation, structure, useful phrases, and confidence. In the next part, we will go even deeper. We will talk about how to design your slides, how to handle questions, and how to connect emotionally with your audience. But for now, take these steps and you will already feel more ready for your next English presentation. Welcome back. In the first part of this episode, we looked at how to prepare, how to structure your presentation, and some useful phrases to sound confident in English. Now, let's move to the next stage. How to design and use your slides. How to handle questions from the audience. And finally, how to connect with your audience so they remember you and your message. Step 5. Designing slides that support you. Many people think slides are the most important part of a presentation. But remember, you are the presentation, not your slides. Slides are just a visual tool to support your message. Here are some key tips for slide design in English presentations. 1. Keep slides simple. If you write too many words, your audience will read instead of listening to you. A good rule is the 6 by 6 rule. No more than 6 words per line, and no more than 6 lines per slide. For example, instead of writing, 1. The benefits of recycling include reducing waste, saving energy, protecting the environment, and creating jobs in the community. You can write 2. Recycling benefits, less waste, save energy, protect nature, more jobs. Short, clear, and easy to read. 2. Use visuals. Pictures, charts, and diagrams can explain more than long sentences. For example, a pie chart showing 80% of waste can be recycled is stronger than saying the sentence alone. 3. Highlight keywords. If your slide says 3 steps to success, then your audience will focus on the 3 steps while you explain the details. 4. Check your English. Slides are permanent. If you made a small grammar mistake while speaking, nobody cares. But if your slide has a spelling mistake, it stays on the screen. So always double check your slides before the presentation. And remember, never just read your slides word for word. Your audience can read. Your job is to explain, not copy what's on the screen. Step 6. Handling questions with confidence. After your presentation, people might ask questions. This can be the scariest part for English learners because you cannot fully prepare for it. But with the right phrases and strategies, you can manage questions with confidence. 1. Invite questions politely. At the end of your presentation, you can say, "Thank you for your attention. Now I'd be happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask." 2. Give yourself time. If someone asks a question and you need a moment to think, you can use phrases like, "That's a great question. Let me think for a moment." "Thank you for asking. Let me explain." These short sentences give you a pause to organize your thoughts. 3. If you don't understand the question, sometimes the question might be too fast or the accent is difficult. That's okay. You can politely ask, "I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Could you please say that in another way?" Asking for clarification is normal, even for native speakers. 4. If you don't know the answer, you don't need to know everything. You can say, "I don't have the exact information right now, but I can check and get back to you." That's outside the scope of today's presentation, but I'd be happy to look into it later. This shows honesty and professionalism. 5. Summarize your answer. Keep your answer short and clear. End with a closing phrase, such as, "Does that answer your question?" I hope that clarifies the point. By practicing these responses, you will feel calmer during the Q&A session. Step 7. Connecting with your audience. The final part of giving a strong presentation in English is about connection. Think about the best presentations you've seen. What made them memorable? Usually, it's not just the information, it's the feeling, the way the speaker made you care. Here are some ways to connect with your audience. 1. Start with a story. Humans love stories. Instead of jumping directly into facts, you can begin with a small story. For example, if your topic is recycling, you can start with, "Last week, I visited a local beach and I saw plastic bottles everywhere. That's when I realized how big this problem really is." A short personal story makes your audience listen. 2. Ask questions. You don't need answers, but asking makes people think. How many of you recycle at home? Have you ever felt nervous giving a presentation? Even rhetorical questions, questions without answers, help people feel involved. 3. Use body language. Your voice is important, but your body speaks too. Smile, make eye contact, and use hand gestures naturally. If you just stand still like a robot, the audience will lose interest. 4. Adjust to your audience. If you see people looking confused, slow down. If you see them nodding and smiling, you know they understand. This awareness makes your presentation more personal. 5. End with impact. Don't just say, "That's it." Instead, finish with something powerful. Remember, small actions can make a big difference. Together, we can achieve this goal. A strong ending stays in people's minds long after the presentation is over. So putting it all together. So now let's put all these steps together. Prepare your main idea and audience focus. Structure your talk into introduction, body, and conclusion. Use phrases that guide the listener. Speak with confidence, not perfection. Design slides that support, not replace your words. Handle questions with calm and clarity. And most importantly, connect with your audience through stories, questions, and energy. If you follow these steps, you will not only survive your English presentation, you will succeed. Before we close, let me leave you with this thought. Every great presenter started somewhere. Maybe their first presentation was nervous and awkward. Maybe they made mistakes, but they improved because they practiced. So don't wait for perfect English. Start with the English you have now. Practice small presentations with friends, record yourself, or even practice in front of a mirror. Each time you will feel more confident. And remember, presentations are not only about English. They are about sharing your ideas, your passion, and your message with the world. Thank you for joining me in this episode on how to give a presentation in English. I hope you feel more prepared, more confident, and more motivated to try it yourself. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking English with confidence.